Like one time I liked to play music in a quiet room, locked away quietly. Didn't want anybody to hear. The only real valid experience for me now is when I can genuinely sit there and communicate music to somebody else. So performance is kind of an outpouring now.
I don't think there's a big difference between playing in different locations because, again, it is the common denominator is the music. It's not about a language. It's not about an environment. It's about the environment created by the music, and we create the same environment wherever we go.
Wow!
Out in a boat.
Who would ever imagine they could have gotten the camera in front that time? This is a CD of John McLaughlin's, and I really got into the Indian music as well through McLaughlin, and I started listening to El Shankar, the fiddler, and Ravi Shankar. What else do we have down here? God, there's all kinds of stuff. Peter Ostroushko is a great mandolin player from Minneapolis, and that's a gorgeous album. The tune is a very, very complex piece of music. It's called Paddy on the Highway, and it's got as if it's portrayed as if Paddy was playing this accordion while riding on a bicycle across a tightrope. And so there's an audience going, woo. I mean, in terms of rock and roll, you know, the Beatles are still, they'll always be the band, I think, you know. Or the Horseflies. To be kind of like, as if like a kind of a Pogues version of America old-timey. Well, maybe not that even, but it's real, it's something else. It's incredible, it's hypnotic kind of music.
The stuff I listen to now is more along the lines of like Tommy Potts or Seamus Ennis and stuff like that. I go through these little missions of listening to different players every tour. So it seems like I'm going further and further back in time for some reason. I'll be listening to Cylinders at the rate I'm going.
When I was a little child, I heard music, I suppose, even before I can remember almost. And it was going on the whole time in the house. People would call here, there'd be house parties, Tulla band would come, my father would play occasionally. So as long as I can remember I'd been hearing music, it seemed like the most normal thing in the world to me, you know.
The era of the Céilí band started around the 40s and 50s with the, we'll say, the start of the Flack Halls, when all the musicians got together in competition. And then you see traditional Irish music up until then was played as a solo music, you know. There wasn't, not many people would play together as an ensemble. I suppose they were competing with the jazz bands of the time as well at dances, and they had to have the volume for bigger halls. They weren't playing in house dances anymore.
For the Tulla to be brought out to the States to play, that was a huge honour, a great honour for Clare and for the Tulla Céilí band to go out there, and I'm sure the support, I'd love to have been there. It must have been very exciting.
Ireland really was a place which was feeling very depressed about itself, whose self-confidence and sense of worth was probably very low. At that time, Irish culture was absolutely shaped by emigration, and yet very few other people in the culture were actually recognising that. Were recognising that there was an Irish audience, that Irishness isn't confined to the island of Ireland.
Come on, so I'll tell
for people like Sean O'Riada, who were very much driving the revival of Irish music in the 1960s. Their agenda was a kind of European art music agenda, and they wanted Céilí music to be the kind of music where you could have a sort of chamber orchestra playing it and people would sit back in a theatre and listen to it.
Change in anything isn't looked upon, you know, very well, especially with things like traditional music. People like to keep the thing the same, but they don't realise that the reason it has survived so long is that it has changed and changed over the years. Like, we don't play like Torralha Carlin would back centuries ago.